Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Demon Avenger. Today we are starting off pretty strong. There's been a lot of improvements and upgrades on this character that I would like to show you guys. It has been a few days and I think I would like to start off by just talking about the level of this character. I was pretty busy actually, not being able to do a lot of things on this character as I would like, but I did try my best to do as many dailies and keep up with my monster parks whenever I could. And thanks to that, I think at the end of the previous part, I was at around level 239. And just by doing my dailies and my 7 monster park runs a day, I am currently level 251. I was kind of surprised how much EXP that monster park gave, especially on the Sunday. I think on the Sunday, I actually ended up leveling up twice, which was pretty crazy across 7 runs. And that puts us nicely at level 250. I haven't claimed a lot of the rewards, so before I do too much on this character, I would like to just at least unlock Labyrinth. I'm going to go ahead and quickly do this cutscene, and we'll talk a little bit more about what this character has gained throughout the last couple of days, and my steps moving forward on this character. So, I'll see you guys in just a second. There we go, we finished up the Labyrinth little cutscene, and now we have pretty much unlocked most of the major areas in the Arcane River. We only really need to unlock one more area for Limina. And this one, honestly, is not too big of a deal. We're only really here for one level, because once we level up to level 254 and then 257, we're technically only able to train in Limina for just one whole level with our Hyperburn. But I think that's okay, because we want to try to get into Grandis as soon as possible anyway. So it's pretty exciting that at least we have Labyrinth unlocked. This would actually do a few things for us. This makes all the dailies for us in the Arcane River only 200 mobs, which is really nice. It saves us a lot of time. And we don't have to worry about mobbing for too long, and quicker dailies are always good. So before we go too far, let's have a quick look at our character and where it stands at the moment. I really haven't done too many things in terms of upgrading this character. We're currently sitting at 6 mil combat power on our character at the moment. I haven't really made any gains on this character other than just leveling up. Arcane symbols are going up pretty steadily, so I'd imagine this is the main reason why we are getting a lot of combat power. And you guys can see I don't have any of my links on as well. And my Legion board. I still didn't get around figuring out what I want to do with this Legion board. Again, I don't really want to give myself just access to everything, so it's been pretty empty, even though I've been giving myself link skills. To start off this video, I wanted to do the thing that I was most excited about for quite a while, and that is actually just buying my last event ring. I've talked about this over the last couple of videos, but in this event, they give us 3 event rings that we can buy from the shop. And we also get one from the actual hyperburning itself, putting us at a total of 4 event rings. And the main reason why I'm so excited for this is because it now finally fills out all of the item drop gear that I need. Currently in my drop gear, everything basically has either meso or item drop, and I think at the moment I'm missing one line of item drop to finish off my basic drop gear, and we'll be pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna go claim just the last ring, just double checking that I actually picked the right one here. I believe it's the Awake ring. And with this, I'm going to try to tier this up to Legendary and roll this for either item drop or meso gear, whatever comes first, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to fix it afterwards. So ideally this will be item drop, but if it ends up being meso gear, then that's okay as well. And we managed to get the ring to Legendary here. I'm trying my best not to overspend on this character, as I said in the previous parts. I am using some spare cubes that I had over from the cube sale. So I'm not trying to spend too much on this character, but to be honest, this character has pretty much farmed a decent amount of money back for itself just from doing the weeklies over the last couple of weeks. The only thing is I haven't done them this week just yet, but I am planning to talk a little bit about this soon. This character is probably strong enough to attempt some new bosses, and I would like to make some progress on this character as well. But before we talk too much about that, let's go ahead and finish rolling for this item. Ideally, I would like to see one more line of item drop. But there is a chance that I get meso obtained with stat, and I think if I manage to get a meso obtained with stat, in my case it'd be HP, I would re-roll my existing meso line for item drop. Just to make sure that I don't overcap on meso, but also taking advantage of the fact that none of my rings or accessories really have any stat on them. A little bit of extra stat will always help. And a few cubes later, we managed to hit our item drop line. Now unfortunately, none of our drop and meso gear really have stat on them. Again, this class doesn't really scale that well against other stats, doesn't really have other secondary stats either outside of strength. So a lot of these all stat lines that we can get on these items are not very useful for us. We only managed to get one with HP. But that's okay, we just wanted to spend a minimal amount so far on these items so then we can get them to be usable. And now we are at a pretty good spot when it comes to our drop gear. And while on the topic of our gear in general, I did manage to get a drop on this character that is actually pretty good. And that is this Dominator pendant. Dominator pendants are pretty rare and you can only really get them from Arcarium, or otherwise you can craft them. I wouldn't recommend crafting them because they are pretty expensive to do so. But this character has managed to get a Dom pendant within the first, well, I would say 2 weeks of its creation. So that's pretty good. I've been trying to do Arcarium every single day in hopes to get one, and I'm pretty glad I managed to get one. And this will be very good for us because this is probably our first piece of permanent damage gear. We are currently using the Dominator pendant that they gave us from the event here, and I would like to try to make this better than the Dominator pendant that I'm currently using. So what I'm going to do is, with the spare cubes I have remaining, I'm going to try to get this to Legendary as well, so then we can actually have a real piece of damage gear to replace this temporary fake one. And we'll see how it goes afterwards. I don't know if even at Legendary this will be better than the current one I'm using, mostly because this Dom pendant is actually pretty okay. I'll probably have to end up star forcing it as well for it to be better. So we're currently sitting at 61 mil. We'll see how it goes after we cube. So our Dominator pendant also managed to go to Legendary as well. We can actually do a few things with this piece of equipment. We can make it into damage gear like I said, or alternatively if we happen to roll some good drop gear lines on this, we can use it as well instead of using this Mechanator pendant. So we'll just see what we hit first with just the cubes that we have remaining. I will probably settle on 2 lines of stat, or perhaps an item drop or meso drop rate with damage as well. So let's see how it goes. And with my first cube, I managed to hit 2 lines of HP, which is my main stat. And wow, it actually is better than my current Dominator pendant, even though it has no stars, which is pretty good. I also realized just now, I didn't have my ring equipped in the right preset, so our character is probably a decent amount stronger than we thought. So there's the ring that I'm going to equip, and even right here, I will replace our fake Dominator pendant. We'll have to Star Force this up just to finish the item, and then we'll also have to give it a flame as well. Currently, it only has a 5 attack flame, which is not very good. Before we check our combat power, I will go ahead and Star Force the Dominator pendant to at least 16. I don't really want to go to 17 because we'll have to safeguard it, which can be pretty expensive. We got the 16th star on the Dominator pendant, and this star is really nice because it does give us a little bit of attack on our item here. We get 8 attack for just that 1 star, and with our equipment actually properly equipped in the right slots now, let's check our combat power. And there we go, we gained about 300k combat power, which is a nice increase. And of course, more importantly, we have all our drop meso gear pretty much filled out here. From here, I wanted to talk a little bit more about finishing off how our character is going to be farming. And that will have to be from our inner ability. Currently, I only have 1 inner ability that I'm using. It's the one with boss damage. That's the one that I'll be using to, of course, do our bosses. But I would also like to have 1 inner ability dedicated to farming. And I know usually you would like to wait for a IA reset, but thankfully going from epic to unique shouldn't cost too much. I'm just going to try to spend some honor to try to get this to unique. And then once I get my IA to unique, I would like to use miracle circulators to get it to legendary. And then from there, I might end up just using miracle circulators to roll for my inner ability as well. For those who might not know about how inner ability works with the circulators, when your inner ability is lower than legendary, it has a chance to tier up. Kind of like with cubes, you have a chance to tier it up. But the best part about using the miracle circulators is that whichever line that you roll, in my case here for this inner ability, it gives me boss damage. All the lines that you can possibly get from this will always be the highest value. So in this case, boss damage will always be 20% on the top line. I'm going to try buy some miracle circulators here, and hopefully it won't cost too much to try to get our inner ability to legendary. And we managed to get legendary on the first circulator. Okay, maybe a little bit overkill on these circulators, but that's fine. Even if you overbuy these miracle circulators, you can still just roll for the lines that you want. In my case, I'd be pretty happy to see 20% meso from any of these. Managed to get 20% item drop. We can take that as a temporary preset. Even though I wasn't intentionally going for this, this is actually a really strong line for us to keep later down the track because this does give us a little bit more item drop for when we break boxes in the boss room. So what I'm actually going to do is gonna start working on another inner ability here, trying to get this one to be my farming inner ability. Wasn't planning on going for item drop. That was something I was going to go for perhaps later, but accidentally hitting it is not an issue here. So hopefully this one will go to unique, and we'll try again for another legendary IA. Took about 5 minutes of clicking, but we eventually got there to the unique IA. Kind of offset how quickly we got it on the first one, but here's hoping that these circulators that we have left over can get it to legendary. If not, I'm okay also just buying a few more as well. There we go, have a few more. I bought a bunch here. I don't really mind overkilling on buying these as well, because we'll be able to keep using them to reroll for the lines that we want. And of course the first one that I buy was the one that makes it go to legendary again anyway. I think the average for these to go to legendary from unique with these circulators, I feel like I've seen it anywhere between 10 to 30 most of the time. So it shouldn't be too much to get it to legendary, but it can add up if you're looking for specific lines. In my case here, I am looking for either attack speed +1 or 20% meso. The reason why I'm also looking for attack speed +1 is just the best in slot damage line for our character here, and I will use it to replace the boss damage line. Okay, we didn't manage to get the 20% drop. I'm going to buy a little bit more and see if we can get something good. I think if in the next pile that I buy we don't hit, I think we'll stop doing that and work on it another time. Rerolling IA like this can be pretty expensive, but I think that I will end up farming on this character a lot in Grandis, so the 20% meso will pay itself back eventually. We managed to get a 15%, we'll keep that for the time being. And there we go, that's the remainder of our miracle circulators. Ideally I would like to have 20% meso obtained, but I think for now 15% is good enough, and maybe on an event or when I feel like spending more money, I might go back and reroll this for 20%, but like I said, I think that would be good enough for the time being. We actually got a decent amount of gains even though it wasn't intentional. Getting just a 20% item drop rate here is really nice for our box breakings in bosses. Give us a little bit more chances of getting our items that we're looking for, and also the meso obtained will be nice for us to train with. And of course we have our first IA where we have boss damage. Ideally we will be able to reroll this later for attack speed +1, which is our best in slot line for this character. But until then, we'll just be using the 20% boss damage just because it's usable. With all those out of the way, let's have a look at what we can actually gain from the hyper burning. Now that I'm actually level 250, there are a bunch of rewards that I have not claimed yet. It looks like we get a bunch of symbols and a bunch of experience node stones. These will help out quite a lot for us to level up the rest of our skills here. A lot of our skill nodes are pretty expensive to level up because they do require more to craft with regarding the node shards, so experience node stones are always a welcome gain, and so is the node stones of course. With my node shards, I've been mostly putting them into my main damage skills. In this case it's Demonic Frenzy, and I did use a bunch of them earlier in the event to put them into Holy Symbol. My Holy Symbol is just about maxed here. I think I just need to craft maybe 2 more to be able to max it out, so I won't use EXP node stones. The EXP node stones I believe count as 3 nodes per skill, so it does actually make it overcap. So Holy Symbol will stay at 24 for the time being, and I'll just manually level it up. As for the other ones, I will just slowly go down all these 5th job skills and try to get them to 25 as well. And with that, most of the skills that we're looking for are maxed out. We have maxed out Demonic Frenzy here. We have maxed out Dimensional Sword as well, and we also have maxed out our Holy Symbol. I'm just going to slowly put points into the rest of the 5th job skills. I'm just following the guide that they have in the Demon Avenger Discord, so I don't really have a plan per se with the EXP node stones. I'm just been slowly leveling up things as we get them. We do get a bunch more from the events as well. From the Book of Forgotten Memories, we get 100 node stones here, which I will claim on this character. And we do eventually get a bunch more EXP node stones. So thankfully this event helps us quite a lot with getting this character stronger. So I will also open these and I'll sort these out. In hindsight, I definitely should have opened these 100 nodes first to see what I needed to craft and not craft. Unfortunately, I did end up seeing some holy symbols and some dimensional swords, so I could have saved myself some nodes, but that's okay. We're bound to accidentally overcap it anyway. Our node situation is looking pretty good. I think from this point onwards, I'm just going to save my node shards until things are getting close to leveling up to max. I'm really hoping to get these boost nodes to be higher, but we're just slowly working up there. Anyway, that was a lot of rambling on this character, just doing some small updates. The next step is definitely trying to make progress on the next bosses that we can do. My main goal right now is to try to make progress on this item burning. So our next goal right here is trying to get this clear onto normal slime. I don't really know how much damage I can do to this boss. I have never really limit tested normal slime. But just based off of how fast we can clear normal Lotus and Damien, it's probably possible, although it might be a long run. And I'll probably have to just kind of run it down a little bit to see just how to play the character in this boss. But hopefully we'll be able to get the normal slime run cleared as well. And to help us with that, I am level 250, so I will give myself a few more bonuses here on our link skills. So currently I have 8 total link skills from level 200. So I think I'm actually missing 3 link skills for my rewards, which makes sense because by the time I'm 255 or 260, it should be maxed out here. And once I get to 260, I'll allow myself to properly give myself the presets. But until then, I'll just be giving myself a little bit of limitations here. I'm trying to think of which of these link skills will give me the most damage. I am back into the mindset of trying to get as much damage as possible for the bosses. I believe for me, I would ideally like to actually have the Kaiser link skill. I don't actually have the Kaiser link skill at all on my account. I never got around to making it because the Kaiser link skill is actually percent HP, which only really benefits this class. So I'm going to have to pick something different here. Given the fact that with all my link skills in, I should have max crit rate. So the first one I'm actually going to pick is the Kinesis link skill Judgment, which gives us 4% crit damage, which is really nice. And for the last two, again, I'm going to treat it the same way as I treated Spirit of Freedom, where I'll get the max level of it immediately. I will take both the Thief link skill and the Mage link skill. These ones are pretty strong and they work perfectly off of each other as well. The Thief link skill gives you a bunch of damage if you are attacking a debuffed enemy, and the Mage link skill gives a debuff onto the enemy, so they work together perfectly. With all these link skills in, I think we should have a reasonable chance at clearing normal slime. I'm not really sure what to expect, but we'll definitely go ahead and try that first to try to get our item burning. This level up is pretty strong. Everything goes up to level 18, so across all 8 of our items, we'll be able to get 1 star. And each of those stars should give us, I think, anywhere between 10 and 15 attack, which adds up quite a lot. So that is going to be our next goal. And then hopefully another thing that I would like to do is also to clear Princess No. Now, Princess No is really necessary for us to get our secondary. I'm currently using a very useless secondary. I didn't upgrade it at all because we really want this Princess No one. So I think I'm missing 7 or so cores for this secondary. It's not looking too good. Ideally by this point, after 2 weeks, you'd be at about 10 or more, but I'm currently sitting at 8. So if I'm unlucky, it might take me another week after this one to be able to get my secondary. So yeah, this will be a pretty big gain because once I get this secondary, I will send it to Legendary as well. So then I will have hopefully a matching potential as my emblem here. We have so much attack from all the stars and from the event rings. These percent attack lines will be very, very valuable to us. So yeah, let's go ahead and do Pinot first and hope for enough fragments. And if not, we'll try go ahead and clear Sea Slime anyway for our item burning. Okay, we just cleared P&O. This is the Moment of Truth, and hopefully we have 15 symbols. We did actually manage to get a Carnage Treasure, which I'll show in a second, but let's check our symbols first. And we got, oh no, we got 14 total. So it looks like we'll have to wait for next week to be able to get our actual secondary. But we did manage to get the nice drop from Princess No, which is the Carnage Treasure. We're going to need this to be used as our damage gear later down the track. It's kind of hard to use at the moment because we only have 1 copy, but once we're able to get more spares of this, we'll be able to Star Force it a lot further. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to prep up my character to give a go at normal slime. I don't really know if I have the damage quite yet to do the boss, but hopefully with guild skills and links, I should be able to give it a fair shot. I do have decent guild skills in this guild, which is nice, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll be able to get the clear. And if not, we're going to have to try to find some upgrades that we can do, or perhaps just level up so then we can do more damage to the boss. So I went ahead and grabbed a few buffs in preparation for this boss here. I even went ahead and actually famed somebody for a little bit of extra attack here. Realistically, I should have ran the boss immediately after doing Princess No, because after you clear the boss, you do actually get a little bit of extra attack for further things. So maybe I should have considered that, but for now though, I'll just work with what I've got. I have a few consumables here. I have the new Wild Hunter potion that we can buy from the collector. I also managed to get Door this time, so a few things that I didn't really make use of in the past. And also making sure to use our Monster Park potions, and I also have a Legion Might. I also have my guild skills ready to go. And one thing that I didn't really pay too much attention to until just now was actually the title. For getting level 240, I got this new Infinite Flame title, which gives us another 20% boss damage and 20% IED, which is really nice. Hopefully with all these buffs and damage, we should be able to have a okay chance at clearing. I feel like I'm more likely to die than anything else, but here's hoping that I can stay alive in the fight. Our final combat power and stats going into Slime here is 6.7 mil combat power. We have our Lynx and Legion already inputted, and I'm going to distribute the last of our hyper stats here, probably just spreading them across a few here. And hopefully this will be enough for us to have a pretty decent shot at clearing Slime. So here goes nothing. And there we have it, we managed to actually clear normal Slime in just a little bit over 15 minutes. I wasn't sure if I could have cleared it on that final burst. I realistically should have waited for the test, but I saw that he only had 3% HP left, and I decided to pop my burst. I have realized that there's a slight problem with my class in this boss, and that is the fact that my class is a 2-minute class, and Slime has his groggy state every 3 minutes. I think it made a lot of sense to wait. I'm not really sure, so if you guys are Demon Avengers and have a better way of dealing with Slime, please let me know, because it felt a little bit awkward playing a 2-minute class in Slime, which is a 3-minute boss. But anyway, we managed to get the clear. That's all that matters. We managed to get another mission down for our item burning. I'm just going to put on my drop gear here and hope maybe we can get a Slime ring. Not that the chances are very high at all. We don't have that much drop rate to work with. I have 166. And there we go, guys. Managed to get our first normal Slime clear on this character. 15 minutes, not even too bad at all. There we have it, guys. We got our brand new crystal. This thing should sell for a fairly decent amount. And before I do too many things, I'm just going to quickly run and do Arcaria and Golix, just because I have the drop coupon, so we'll claim the rewards in just a bit. Just quickly ran Golix and Arcarium. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything too interesting, although we did get another reinforced belt, which is quite nice. These will be handy for us to use as fodder later for our superior gear. But we'll worry about that later. What I want to do now is just hand in our next item burning. We managed to get the Slime clear here. This will allow us to upgrade our challenger equipment to 18, which is insane. So let's go ahead and hand it in so we can see just how much damage we gain. Again, we are currently sitting at just under 7 mil combat power. Let's see how much these extra stars will add. Across 8 items, this should give us a pretty solid amount of extra damage. And there we go, we're currently sitting at 7.5 million combat power, giving us about 700k combat power. That is a pretty big jump as expected. And this will help us a lot with doing a little bit more damage to the next boss, which is going to be Lucid here. And on top of that, the rest of our weeklies are going to go down a lot faster. I haven't done pretty much any of my weeklies so far, so this is a lot of extra money that we're going to be able to get. I'm mostly looking forward to doing Lotus and Damien. Again, just kind of building up our Absolab pieces, but I actually want to try to look towards going for a hard Damien party somehow. I want to get it carried just because the chances of me getting a Rune Force shield is significantly higher on hard Damien compared to normal Damien. I'm not sure if anybody's going to be running a hard Damien run anytime soon. For hard Lotus, I am not too fussed about it. I'm trying not to get too carried on this character. I think the fact that I'm playing a Demon Avenger, I really want to allow myself to get into a hard Damien party as soon as possible. I'll try to sort that out myself, but until then, I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my weeklies, and we'll sell the crystals afterwards. So I finished up all of my weeklies, including Damien. I wasn't planning on finishing normal Damien and hoping for a hard Damien party, but it is coming towards the end of the week, and unfortunately I didn't properly organize myself a party. I think I have a pretty fair chance of blue dotting in the boss in hopes to get a Rune Force shield, but I'll probably have to properly sort it out next time on the reset, so then we can try for that Rune Force shield. Other than that though, we did sell all of our crystals here. We have gained about 1.5 bill from just a weekly bosses, which is really nice, and I haven't even really started training yet. Usually at this point I'd be investing a lot of my money into my Meso drop gear, but because I tried to utilize the cube sale, it's all currently done, as you guys know. And for now, I'm just going to be saving my money to eventually upgrade my secondary, whether it be a Rune Force shield or the one we get from Princess No. So I'm going to quickly talk about the next steps regarding this character, because I think it's getting close to the point where we're going to be starting to get stuck on certain time gates here to be able to clear some content. I would like to try to get this character to 260, of course. Once we get to 260 and unlock all the things that come with it, we get our grandest dailies and we get our 6th job advancement. This character will get a huge spike in damage, so I might try to either train or perhaps just continue doing my dailies and just slowly get to 260. This will just mean that it will take a while for me to do some updates on this character, but I think that the 260 goal is one that makes the most sense to us. My next main goal is, of course, to clear Easy Lucid solo, and we get a lot of things from it. The 100 fragments, which is huge, and this is the biggest one here, the level 5 sacred symbol. It's a huge jump in levels in sacred symbols, so I really want to get this done, given the fact that P1 is pretty hard to stay alive in for a long amount of time if the golems get out of control, and also considering most classes have issues with P2 in general. I don't think I have the damage for it to be a comfortable clear, and just given the fact that I don't know how long it will take me to actually clear P1, I'm going to give myself a little bit more time to get a bit stronger before I reattempt this boss. Which leads us into asking, what do we need to actually do on this character to get it stronger? And one of the first things that came to mind is just simply by star forcing up some of the gear. And of course the issue with that is we don't really have too much money to work with. I'm only making about 1.5 bill per week on this character. And on top of that, I don't really have very good items to actually push. I think the most impressive one to push is probably this Dominator pendant, but I don't have any spares of this item, and the spares of course are going to be the biggest time gate for this particular slot. The other thing that we've been trying to work on is actually our reinforced and superior gear. I've just been doing Golux every day in hopes to get a superior drop, and as of right now I have a few reinforced items. I have some belts here, as you guys can see, and I think I have an earring or two as well. We're just going to have to try to build these up, and perhaps I might consider star forcing these and using these as actual damage gear until we get our superior gear. Our coins are slowly adding up. I'm currently sitting at 200 coins here. It's still going to take me about another 2 months or so to get enough coins to buy the ring and the pendant. Again, just another really big time gate, so I'm not trying to force myself into upgrading too many of these items, and I think that I should really be focusing on getting upgrades and damage gains that do not require me to invest any money in. And that just leads us back to trying to get to 260, getting our 6th job, getting our new dailies, and unlocking all the things that come with 260. So unfortunately, I can't make too much more progress on this character without dumping a lot of extra resources onto it. I think in a realistic situation, if I had a lot of money to play with, I would actually probably try to Star Force CRA gear past 18. I know the Challenger gear is fantastic at the moment, but if we're just trying to find places to make gains, I would try to realistically replace the Challenger gear already. Going for 21 stars on a lot of items is a pretty easy gain, and that is probably going to be my next steps going forward after I clear all of my Challenger missions. And I want to try to fill out all the accessory slots as best as I can. Basically what I'm saying is we're just in a bit of a waiting room on this Demon Avenger. Now that we've almost finished up the item burning, trying to get our superior gear, and of course eventually replacing the Challenger gear. Even though it is so amazing, we should be trying to replace it as soon as possible. So those are the things that I'm going to be looking forward to. I think we still have quite a lot of work to do on this character, but I might slowly get my way to 260 first. And once we hit 260, then I think our upgrade path might be a little bit more clear. But for now, I don't really want to invest into things that don't really need to be upgraded, like our Challenger gear here, and of course our drop and meso gear. Just to round things off, I think I will reward myself a little bit on this Demon Avenger. I do still want to get a little bit of extra damage, and one of the easiest forms for me to actually get damage is to re-roll my item drop and meso gear. This was something I didn't really want to do originally because it could be pretty expensive, But as of right now, I only have, I think, maybe 1 or 2 HP lines across all of my Meso drop gear. And that means that I'm missing out on quite a lot of damage on both bossing and mobbing, because this is the same basic loadout that I'm using between the two. So I'm going to go and grab some cubes, and I'm going to roll these item drop and Meso lines away and see if we can get some item drop plus HP or Meso obtained plus HP lines. Okay, so I used just about 100 cubes across my rings and managed to hit some interesting lines that I wasn't really aiming for. I'll just show them one at a time because some ridiculous things did happen on this character just now. So starting off here, I did manage to get the first ring being Meso obtained with HP, which is what we were aiming for. My main goal in that cubing session was to try to get lines like this, where it's item drop rate or Meso obtained with a bit of HP. And as I was rolling my second ring, I accidentally hit 3 lines of HP pretty quickly. And I was thinking to myself, well, I might as well keep it because this is pretty good value early on for damage. It is a little bit sad because I would rather it be a Meso drop ring, but I think this is a pretty solid ring to use as damage gear, and I got this so cheap, I might as well use the 3 lines of stats. So I decided to keep this 1299 HP ring. Then we moved on to the next one. This one also managed to get Meso obtained plus HP, which is great. And then I cubed into a hybrid of item drop and Meso obtained. The fact that I got this off of a random glowing cube is insane. I think I might have rolled it once or twice on this particular ring and I happened to hit. And it has strength too, which is like my secondary stat, so pretty good value for me. I kind of made up for the fact that I lost a drop line from this ring, but it came on to this ring instead. So overall, my character is going to be keeping most of its lines anyway. And then I rolled a few more. I managed to hit 2 lines of stat on this particular one with item drop rate. This one I didn't roll. This one is currently sitting at item drop rate with strength. This one is Meso obtained with strength, and my earring is Meso with HP. I could probably go a little bit more, but I'm okay with keeping them as they are right now. I don't think that in 27 cubes I'll be able to roll Meso obtained or item drop with stats, so I don't want to really overinvest on any of the money. And as for this greed pendant, I'm not going to really bother too much about upgrading this. This is purely to equip while I break boxes or while I train. And if I do decide to train, I'll probably replace this one with the spirit pendant anyway. So the greed pendant is on the lowest priority at the moment. Overall though, we did manage to pretty much gain maybe 5 or 6 lines of HP, maybe a little bit more if we count all 3 of them here. So our character should have gone up in combat power quite a decent amount. I don't really know how much combat power we started off this particular session with, but let's have a look at our combat power now. And we are sitting at just a little bit above 8.5 million. I think at the beginning of this video, we probably started off at close to 7.5 million, so going up 1 mil combat power between our challenger gear and our upgrades here is going to be a pretty nice boost in damage. Just slowly working our way towards being able to clear our bosses a little bit easier, and of course working towards clearing Easy Lucid for our challenger mission. For now though guys, I think that'll be it for today. I do apologize if you guys were expecting a bit of a longer video. I think the last video was a little bit of an anomaly, so we're kind of back to the usual length of the videos. Our main goals right now are pretty simple. I want to try to get to level 260 to unlock my 6th job, and I want to keep up with my daily content so then I can keep pushing my arcane symbols, getting a bunch of EXP from Monster Park, and finishing our daily bosses for our potential drops. Arcarium, of course, is useful for our Dominator pendants, which we are lucky enough to get one this week. Ranmaru is used so then we can get more fodders for our eventual Absolab push. For Demon Avenger, Absolabs are a very viable strategy, so I'll be aiming for these. And of course, we're doing Golix every day for both the chances of getting reinforced and superior gear, and of course building up the coins so then we can buy the rest of the set. It might take a little bit for me to make another update on this Demon Avenger. Might be a once a week sort of thing now. I know the last couple of weeks we've been doing maybe 1 or 2 a week, but I think now it's going to be slowing down a little bit, so then I can give you guys more interesting updates than just simply me doing my weeklies. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this series so far. If you guys have enjoyed it, please give it a like. It helps me out a lot. And if you guys would like to see more from me, please consider subscribing to the channel. Take care guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.